What's good, YouTube and Twitch? We're live to both right now with the top 5 decks that piss me off. I really don't like a lot of these decks and what they've either become or their interactions with the game, and I'm gonna talk about specifically why. And in my honorable mentions, it may be a joke from the stream, but I truly despise crawlers just for existing. I don't like them. I straight up just don't. I don't want to read them because I know they're a flip deck that work with links, a mechanic that naturally doesn't work with links in 2018. And they don't break the link mechanic by flipping links down or anything, which is kind of what ghost tricks need. They're just a pack filler that doesn't deserve to live. That's my opinion though. Of course, you'll have yours. Let's go ahead and get into my top 5. And in the number 5 position is one that you see played here and there, and that's Nurse Burn. Why do I dislike Nurse Burn? Well, it's a deck that's literally made to just degenerately come out in formats and got more support recently. Nurse Reficule became Dark Lord Nurse Reficule to match the OCG, and then we see it actually abused with the ability to work with the Dark Lord engine, and it's just used to turn cards that were meant to be ridiculous. 3,000 life point gain, that kind of thing, or give your opponent life points, similar to Battery Action of Samachi, and be a more consistent deck that just, I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna lose, and I hope you have no hard counters. Please don't have any kind of disruption that would potentially stop this. Don't have an infinite impermanence. And impermanence, Saving Grace, very expensive card that I personally don't own 3 of either. Team Bum here is one card that can stop this, luckily, when they go first. So, we've had some other things, you know, Effect Veiler, of course, but you gotta draw the answers, and that's always the problem versus a deck that's trying to OTK/FTK. It's basically trying not to let the opponent play the game. It's one of the older versions that got a buff through Zodiac format, but Chain Burn was honestly better. In our number 4 position, this might be a little more controversial. I don't like the Phantom Knights. In fact, they piss me off at this point. A once really cool rank 3 engine that was really unique and had its own way to play, actually able to top regionals through its rank up deck wacky shenanigans, setting up negates and buffs, now becomes this engine that's abused for warriors. It's used for its resource game, its ability to get on board easily, and I don't like where it went. I used to really respect the Phantom Knights. I was thinking about, oh, how are these gonna work with Cherubini? How are these gonna interact? And, you know, I was excited for the Link monster at first. I'm like, oh boy, a buff to this deck that I love. And I really hate the direction that it's taken. I don't like where it's gone to where it's abused to make Isolde. It's abused to give Rongo Bongo more support. It's abused outside. This concept of it was Dark Hero at first, and I was like, oh, okay, I can see this, and then it gets into being just Dark Warrior anything, and you're making Bongo, you're making Isolde. It feels bad, man. Like, I really hope this deck doesn't get hit for that and the actual problems get hit, and I can go back to loving it and the more wacky antics that I used to enjoy it for, but currently, I just can't say I'm in love. I can't say that I enjoy this for being Phantom Knights anymore. Like, I didn't want it to just be rank 3 fodder. I wanted to mix rank 3 and links and kind of step into that new age with Phantom Knights, and boy, did that go wrong. But I think a lot more of you will share this opinion with our number 3 slot, and that is Trickstars. Burn 200, burn 200, burn 200. Konami knew the new time rules were coming for USA, but the USA does nothing with controlling cards like this. Just the ban list, and avoiding every single ban list so far somehow, after winning YCS's Trickstar Sky Striker being a thing, still being a thing. I feel like what I really hate about Light Stage here is it was the original card that ruined traditional back rows. Things had to be able to be flipped up automatically, avoid this, do something when hit by this, and it's really what killed traditional back row at first, and then over time it just traditional back rows did get power crept, but this was the nail in the coffin, I'm telling you. And it's its own back rows, you know? It's a resource in the graveyard. First off, as if it needed to do more. Second off, it's a disruption in hand that, in combination with Lycurus, ends up for burn damage for game. Oh yeah. Burn damage for game that recurs resources, and also in combination with Droll is the famous lockout. Now, I think it's overstated, right? This little combo here can be overstated, but at the same time, it's not letting you play the game, which is that innate fear as a Yu-Gi-Oh player. I'm gonna spend $1,000 on a meta deck. I'm gonna spend a flight, a hotel. I'm gonna sit down round one, and I'm not gonna get to play the game that I came here to play. That's the beats, kid, and this is one of those decks that was really giving it for a while. Droll kind of phased out a little bit, but like, you're still going to see it in Trickstars. You're still going to see Trickstars top here and there, and you're still going to have to write -200, -200, -200, -200 for a good chunk of another part of the year, so I feel like this is more of a popular opinion, but I truly dislike playing against them. Every time I play against them, I'm like, how are you going to win? And it's something like Borlow Dragon after burn, burn, burn. Or like, you know, my hand is gone, like they happen to get that cheese. Or it's just so unfortunate that a deck like this is doing so well. Like, I as a burn player from the past, like Dear Goat format, I truly played burn until Des Wombat. I just don't respect it. It doesn't feel like burn. You're not doing huge chunks at a time. And whittling down is okay. Whittling down is fine, but like, man, I can't respect it. And another deck, this is a little more controversial, but we're gonna get into why. In my number 2 position here, oh man, I'm ready for the hate. I dislike Herald a lot. And before Olinthio revived in the comments sections, I hate Herald of Perfection. It's one of the original cannot play decks. It's up there with Vanity's Fiend for me, but Vanity's Fiend isn't usually a deck. There are a few incarnations where you like played Mausoleum and Vanity's Fiend. Herald of Perfection really grinds my gears, especially in combination with Christia, which is typically searchable in the decks. You can Brilliant Fusion it to Graveyard, you can send it and search it out, you can get it back with the other Herald Xyz. Herald of Perfection. I've even built boards that like use it. It feels grimy, it feels dirty. You're getting so many freaking negates out of this. And yes, it uses a resource, but it's not fair. When you back it with something like Christia, this is one of the original lockouts. And people look at this with nostalgia goggles because it's been power crept over time, because people typically find ways to get past this. But you drop a Christia or a Vanity's Fiend on a board today, and it can spell trouble for a lot of these decks, as long as, if they didn't get to Widow Anchor, a lot of the decks, like the Goki decks, just go, I don't play Moonmirror Shield anymore. I play all my extender cards like Living Fossil. It's a problem. And then to have negates on top of that, so you're telling me you can't special and then you can just negate the Moonmirror Shield. Big oof, big yikes. So this is a lockdown feeling, but I'm not disliking all lockdown decks. This has a little bit of PTSD for me. Like, Bongo is a bigger problem right now. But this is the OG. And I've never been a fan, ever. I've played against it at locals. I have a bad time. I play against it. It feels like you put all of it into the first turn. There's usually not an actual grind game. It's like, from the first turn, it feels really determined. Then Utopia the Lightning, yeah, fix it when they only have Herald. But when they Herald Christia you... it's so freaking annoying. And in my number 1 slot, maybe no surprise, you've seen it in a few Yugi No-No skits. It's Psy-Frames! You've seen Billy bug out over it. You've seen Ediception play them in tournament in the Zodiac series. They're getting a little bit of a revival, and it feels somewhat like the Phantom Knights, where it's going to be abused as the engine and not the deck, as our Psy-Frame Lord Lambda is going to allow Psy-Frames to be activated even with face-up cards on the field. Oh, yikes. Is it face-up? Yeah, I think it's just anything. Let's see here. You can activate the effects of Psy-Frame Gear monsters in your hand even if you control a monster. It doesn't need to be face-up. My bad. I was reading too far ahead. So basically, this is just like, okay, Psy-Frames are good to go anytime. While they have to play the brick that is Driver, they're still so powerful. You monster effect? I've got that. You've got the response to normal summons or special summons, I've got that. Beta, oh, you're gonna actually think about attacking? I've got that. Like, they've got answers for every single situation. And then if it's your turn, let's say you're actually activating a field spells, and you're trying to just throw down a reasonable hand trap, like Ash Blossom. Oh, my Spiral Resort is protected, and now I'm gonna get a Synchro where my original boss monster was abused in decks other than Psyframes naturally because it's great at ripping up hands. Sounds familiar. My boss monster is now going to be used generically in decks that can give resources and allow me to negate stuff while building a board. Oh, this just hurts a little bit too much. You're going to be able to do a build a board workshop where you're going to be able to stop ghost scrolls that were being held. You're going to be able to, like, stop so many things, and I don't like where it's headed. I didn't like where it was in the first place, and it pisses me off. These are 5 decks that piss me off. Of course, it's completely subjective to my own taste. What are 5 decks that maybe piss you off in the comment section down below? And thank you, both Open Chats, for joining me, YouTube and Twitch, live every single Friday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Central. Be sure to join in. The Tuesday bonus stream sometime happen, which will be this week, also 7 p.m. Central. So we're live on both platforms, whichever you want to join. Come and hang out, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, by the way, to this YouTube channel.